Good game. Good game.
Nekem meg az a baj, hogy ha megfejteni a kezem, akkor ő is pofon.
Hát ez nincs baj. Hát ezek kész
Hát jó, csak hogyha mondjuk kezet fognak, nem is akkor megfogják, hogy...
Welcome back. We are live again at Curling Band Zoetermeer here in the Netherlands for the Dutch Masters Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. Stop on the Curling Champions Tour. Introduced this year, mixed doubles, 9 events being played throughout Europe and 1 in Seattle, giving all the teams an opportunity to get on the field with mixed doubles. Joining us in the final, excellent games this morning. This is the last game in the tournament. We have Team Hungary represented by Zsolt Kiss and Dora Sanka, and they'll be playing Victoria Moiseeva versus Moiseeva-Dron. Both of these teams have a lot of experience. They've met on a couple occasions. Peter is a past world gold medalist in 2010. In 2015, placing 5th together with Victoria. Victoria has placed 5th 2 years in a row. Her first appearance was with Alexander, who she just defeated in the semifinal. They were partners. Zsolt and Dora have 2-time world champions. So lots of great experience on this ice. We're going to expect to see some really great play. I'm joined today by Jaap van Dorp, skip from men's national team.
Hello.
Welcome, Jaap.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Certainly my pleasure.
All right.
We're going to give you some commentating on the game here, keep you up to date with what's happening on the ice and around the curling club.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date on the other sheets as well. We've got a bronze medal game going on sheet A, which is another Hungarian and another Russian team. You want to tell us who those teams are, Sherry?
That'll be George Nagy, and I understand I say that name completely wrong, but that's what I'm going to keep saying because that's what I know. And Ildi, they're past champions as well from Hungary, winning a silver medal in 2009. They've had 4 appearances together as partners at the World Championships. Alexander and Anastasia, first time together as partners. They do play a lot in Russia. They're hoping to come through the Russian Championships and qualify for the Worlds. As I just learned from Judith, Alexander was Victoria's partner in 2014 at the World Championships, winning 5th. So, great match coming up here with these 2 teams, these 4 teams on the ice competing.
Absolutely. And we've had a really good feel here in the whole weekend, actually. We've experienced firsthand how difficult it is to play against these teams. They're playing really well and playing some world-class curling here.
Excellent. The ice has been really great conditions. A little bit tricky in the first couple ends, a little bit heavier, a little bit less curl. After it gets one end down, seems to be a little bit short on the first end, as you're seeing right now. On the second end, the rocks are all sitting in the back of the floor, so hopefully these teams will adapt to that a little bit quicker. We'll get the game going a little bit faster here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also see that running rocks over a certain path speeds the path up quite a bit. So they really have to keep track of where they've thrown and make sure that they adjust when they throw the next one on that path. The ice will speed up quite a bit. So we now see them taking a bit more ice, I think, and throwing a little less weight. See if they can get one nestled into the forefoot.
So there's Bluestone sitting in the house. Russia, with Victoria and Peter, were qualified as from the top seed of section, so they actually had the choice of the hammer. So their stone is placed at the back of the forefoot. That is new in the rules this year. Previous year, that would have been placed at the back of the button, the white circle in the middle of the house. This has created a little bit different dynamic for the game, a little bit more opportunity to get rocks built up. Take a little longer in the end before determining who's got the advantage. The second stone is placed at the front. The yellow stone sitting directly in front, that's still in play, in a guard position, halfway between the house and the hog line. The red hog line is the red line, indicating the field of play. And you'll see that when the throwers slide over it and release the stone before that line.
So Sherry, now that you mentioned that the rock is placed further back in the forefoot, so touching the back four, how do you think this has changed from the previous rule where the rock was actually back of the pin?
Well, I think what it does, Yap, is creates an opportunity for teams to take a little bit longer building up their strategy, giving another option for the team with the hammer to get a second rock on top. What you saw in traditional play in the first few years was the first draw shot would come down on top and the pin would be covered.
Yep.
And then it was a matter of having to try and move rocks. You can't remove the first 3 stones in play, the first 3 delivered stones. So that means rocks had to get bumped around, and sometimes it was, your style of play was kind of determined a little bit earlier. And I think now they take a little more risk. They willing to throw rocks a little higher, and we see a little more finesse shots, a little more angles being played, being a little bit longer to build them up. So I think your skills are coming into a little more effect. Execution and communication become more vital. So we'll just catch up with the teams on the ice here. There are 5 delivered stones for each team, plus the 2 stationary stones. 6 stones are used for each end of play for each team. Like regular curling, you alternate throwing with your opponent. Difference here is you don't throw 2 rocks consecutively. The first thrower delivers the first and the 5th stone. So the second thrower delivers the 3 stones in the middle. That may be changed end to end. So far this weekend we haven't seen that switching around very often. Both of these teams have pretty much kept the same rotation throwing from game to game. For Zolt and Dora, that's the first stone and the last stone for Zolt, and the middle stones for his partner. And with Victoria and Peter, Victoria delivers first and last, and the big guy, Moiseeva-Dron, he delivers the 3 stones in the middle.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting to see that different teams have different kinds of handling this first and 5th and 2, 3, and 4 throwing, and how they actually sweep and who jumps up and goes to sweep as well. So I think teams are still figuring that out, and they have to really make decisions as a team what they're going to do with that. As we see here, Dory is actually playing a hit, and she's jumped up and tried to sweep it, and she's doing a good job. Is she going to make this run? Looking really good.
Excellent shot there.
Yeah,
good
nice.
Precision, good execution. Zolt here stays in the house, calls the line. Dora sweeps her own rock. And that is a new rule this year as well, introduced by the World Curling Federation. Previously, one of the players would have to keep their foot within the house end over the hog line, and then could come out and sweep, or the thrower could chase the stone and sweep, which you just saw there being done. New this year, there is not required to be a skip in the house. You can have somebody starting in the sweeping position, like traditional curling, and the thrower just choosing their own line and playing the line. Haven't seen that being done by very many teams. I think the Estonia team is the one I've seen, only team that's seen that do that consistently. They have a sweeper. They have generally chosen not to have anyone in the house, choosing their own line. Both of those folks are skips, so that's how they've chosen to play it. Hasn't really taken off.
No, it's pretty interesting to see. I actually tried it myself a little bit. I played with my sister, and we agreed that I do most of the sweeping, but we've also determined that when we throw the first draw, that we're always going to have a sweeper there, so you can get started right away and make sure you get the first rock right where you want it, and the weight and the line are both good, so you get the end set up right. I think that might be something you see more often in the future, but so far in the teams here, I think we haven't really seen it much, so that's pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
Also, when you throw an open draw for an extra point, for instance, when you're already sitting shot, I think you can picture your own broom and your own target, and you can actually have a bigger advantage if you have another sweeper there. So it should be interesting to see if more teams take that on.
So here's Zolt sweeping his own stone, bringing it down there, trying to guard up the stone in the house. He'll need to get that over the hog line, have to work pretty hard. A little bit stiffer coming into a different line there, as we mentioned early. lines break up quite quickly, so you have to pay attention to where you've thrown it and where you haven't thrown it yet. And that leaves an opportunity for Victoria to come down and play a hit on that and score 2 in this first end. Unfortunate miss there.
Yep. That's of course not really the margin for that shot. You really want to be anywhere in front of the house, but you can even be in the house, I think. And if your second shot there, she still has to make the double for her 2 points.
Absolutely. Your margins, you can even bang those around in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a little unfortunate miss there. Well, we'll see if she capitalizes on this and takes 2 points in the first end.
For Hungary, this is their 4th game, so might be feeling a little bit of fatigue. Not a lot of turnaround time in games. They had to play in an elimination round because they did not qualify first in their field, in their group phase. They lost their first game out here to Finland in their group pool. So
Nice nose hit.
they had to play an elimination game to qualify for the quarterfinals. They went through their quarterfinal game defeating. I'll get that for you. A little bit. What's going on here this morning? Sorry about that, folks. Defeating Switzerland 6-7 in the elimination game. They went on then to play against Scotland, defeating Scotland 7-5, Judith Lee McCleary. And then met up with Hungary, their companions from home, Nagy and Ziekers, and defeated them as well, qualifying them for the final here against Russia. So they've had quite a busy morning.
Yep.
Lots of games today already. They're both very fit athletes. They do a lot of training, so back on our ice here.
And they both also play a lot of games, so they're pretty used to playing tournaments and being able to play back-to-back. Although mixed doubles is also quite different from playing regular curling in that sense, because you're actually busy with a lot more tasks than what you would in a
curling game.
In traditional curling.
Can't share the responsibilities with as many teammates.
Exactly. I think mentally is also a bit more difficult actually, because you're a lot more responsible for taking on the tasks of both throwing and sweeping, maybe calling the line, whatever your team philosophy is in that sense for mixed doubles.
I heard talking to Molly Mulder from Estonia earlier and asked her what her attraction was to this game and what she found the most difference. Also skipped from the women's division, and she said she thinks in mixed doubles she has to understand herself more and what her skills are.
Yeah.
She can't rely on any of the extras. She just has to feel the stone and be able to throw it and know how she's feeling and control those emotions. So it's really nice to hear that perspective.
Absolutely, and what we just talked about with the ice as well, you're tracking the different paths. This is normally something that your front-end sweepers would do, taking a look at where the opponent's thrown, what the split times would be for you to throw. So when you're a skip and you come down to the ice or to the hack and you have to throw your last turn draw, you have some information and you know what you need to do to make that shot. But when you're playing mixed doubles, you're out there on your own, and well, you're with two, but you don't really have split times, and it's really hard to just take a guess on what the ice would do and what shot you need to throw and how much weight you need for certain paths.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive what these teams as draw-wise can do in the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. So let's get back to our game here.
Yeah, we're babbling away a little bit.
That's okay. Always nice to have the conversations with the new. We have lots of viewers out there. Some know the game, some don't. So providing little bits of information to help you out. If we haven't provided you enough information about how mixed doubles is played, please log into DutchMastersCurling.nl. You can follow all the line scores from the games. Plus, there's a little clip there. You can read a little bit about the rules and the style of play. If you want more information, there's a nice video available on YouTube or at World Curling Federation. You can also look on there on mixed doubles, get some guides on, or make a call to your local club and ask for an instruction. Go out and try it.
Absolutely. So in our game here, we see a little unfortunate tap back, but it's right now a team from Hungary that's laying 2 shots. Although they are in the back of the forefoot, So they'll need to throw up one in the top of the house here to make sure that they keep control of their control zone. Meanwhile, we see Moiseeva-Dron off the screen fixing his broom a little bit. I guess he has so much pressure on the broom that it sometimes can't handle that. But he's back in the game.
А то я тебе сейчас стою. Нормально, да. Я просто стою тебе, она у меня
Let's see if Dory can put one up here, top 4. I think that's the call.
They did discuss whether they were going to play a hit and roll off that outside blue one. In mixed doubles curling, you cannot remove a stone until after the 3rd stone is delivered. So there's been enough stones delivered that they can now play a takeout. But as we talked about in last game and every game, the second end seems to have a lot of rocks go through to the back 4 or through the house. Making an adjustment between the draw weight from the first end to the second end seems to be a struggle for all the teams out here this weekend. Lots of change in the ice conditions between first and second end, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's give us an opportunity for Moiseeva-Dron to come down and just put one on top of his pile there and block off the access to the forefoot, to the button. You'll want to get partially buried behind that guard. Doesn't have to go completely behind it.
No, he's got these two in the back 4 that will actually help him out if he's anywhere in front of that. So what he wants to do is be shot rock, but not necessarily right onto the back ones. And to make sure that you keep your rock in front of the T-line as well.
And again, looks like it's coming a little bit heavy down here.
Yeah.
When you're heavy, it does glide and does not seem to curl up as much.
I think that's part of the reason that the rocks also are a little heavy, because teams are expecting the ice to break down a little bit more, and when it curls off a little bit harder, then rock also slows down. So when it runs that little bit straighter, because you also gave it that little bit extra weight, I think they also generally tend to glide, and they even keep going further. We really want to make sure that you throw the weight top 12, make sure you sweep that extra little bit, and then you also get a nice little curl into the forefoot and get your rocks in a nice position.
Which is the difference for regular curling. You're used to having 2 sweepers be able to take that for you, and doubles you're going to put that just that little bit extra. And that little bit extra seems to be costing teams this weekend.
Yep.
This mixed doubles event is early on the circuit, so these teams will fine-tune those skills and those communication opportunities before they get to the World Championships.
Very nice shot here. Even though it's not their shot, I think it does block off the path to the dolly.
Yeah.
So this is pretty good position for this rock.
So she'll be looking to come in and just sit right there and try and take away the pin, cover parts of the pin if they can get there.
And we see that they don't have a lot of ice for this shot. The broom is just outside of the edge of the forefoot, so it looks like the ice is not swinging that much yet. We'll see if it breaks down a little bit more, and it might actually curl more in the end of the game.
It's really well weight sensitive, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I'm talking about the sweeping, Sherry. They think there's different techniques that will be developed as well by players, because they do have to sweep on that slider. And what we were just talking about with the finish of the rock, do you think they'll try and develop something where they can actually keep it straighter or make it curl a bit more, as we see in traditional curling?
Well, you do see some of those better teams, some of the top knowledgeable teams, switching sides as they're coming down the ice, similar to creating that switch sweeping you see in men's and women's play.
Exactly.
I think one of the surprising factors that I thought people would probably put their gripper on and go with their sweeper and get a little better action on the broom. It's also a little safer for those beginners learning sweeping. And I think you can probably pick and choose how you're going to get your angles on your broom head if you have a traditional sweeper beside you.
Yep.
I think all these teams will probably explore those options as they come along, but so far it looks like having somebody calling the line and keeping that communication from the house is still a priority.
Yep. So this should be a hit and roll for Dory from Hungary. Just looking to take out these blue Russian counters. Make a little roll inside even if you can.
And she makes
Looking
up
pretty
another
good.
guard. A really nice shot there.
Very nice.
Excellent shot. So she's managed to sit there now for 4, move all 3 of those blue rocks a little bit.
Yeah. So big pressure shot for Russia coming up now. You gotta make a really nice draw here. If they bounce off any of those yellows, they'll be sitting wide open, and Hungary will be able to make a hit on it. So line will be really crucial here. So we'll wait, because obviously it has to get there first.
And Victoria and Peter were in a bit of the same situation in the last game. They left their opponents in the third end a hit for potential 4. Fortunately, Anastasia came up a little bit tight and overcurled and didn't manage to get it through the hole in the back. So I think this might be a little bit tougher finding the exact rock placement to secure not a big end against them here.
Yeah.
That's the last stone for Russia.
Exactly. I think weight looks all there. Dron is calling her off for line. It looks to be sliding a little heavy.
You see the head going down a little bit, and it's not going to curl in at all. And it is going to be a draw for 5 for Hungary.
Wow.
In the second end. They'll be discussing which rotation, which turn to throw. They only have to hit the 4-foot, so.
Oh, basically, if you're touching the 4-foot, you're already 5th shot. So I think the 5th counter is the Russian shot in the back of the 8. So even if you're outcounting that one, score 5.
A little bit of an unexpected start to this game.
Yeah. But I think they're mostly discussing what line they want to throw it in, because as we said, there's different paths in the ice which have broken down. And they've thrown quite a couple of draws in this path right now. So if you take the same ice, it'll probably keep sliding quite a bit. And if you take a little bit extra because you don't want to wreck on any of the front rocks, then you might actually end up throwing in a little bit slower path. You might come up short. So I think that might be the discussion that they were having. Even though my Hungarian is also not that good.
Might have to be working on it a little bit though, hey?
We'll see.
Really nice shot coming in here. He's in a really nice line. He's just going to nestle nicely up against those other yellow stones.
Very nice.
And
well done.
draw to the middle circle. And it'll be a score for 5 for Hungary.
Yeah. But as we've seen before, there's been really high scores in mixed doubles, and
turn around really quickly this game.
Exactly. So 5-2 score doesn't say anything in the beginning of the game yet. We still have 6 ends to go, so we're up for the rest of this final. Should be another good game. So do you think that it would be smart to call a power play now, for instance, Sherry? Because what we've traditionally seen is that teams have chosen to keep it for the end of the game. But if you just received a 5-ender against you, might it be a mental advantage to just get a power play end in and score a couple back and get right back into the game?
Well, I think the vote's a little bit out on that one yet. I've been watching quite a few games here, and the power play being brought into play. Generally, you're right, it's closer to the end of the game. It hasn't always been effective. What happens quite often so far is it being brought in at the end of the game. You have everybody's used to the path going to the middle.
Yep.
Nobody knows the ice going to the outsides. So maybe playing it earlier when the ice is a little more balanced across the sheet might be a better advantage time to use it.
Yeah.
They seem to not be able to negotiate the speed of the stones to go around that corner guard, whereas going around the center guard, they are all pretty used to it. This looks like a much better pace going in for this one here. Sweeping this, trying to get it as close as possible.
Yeah.
Really nice line. It's open enough that it can be used and tapped up.
It's always good to be in front of the tee line for these kind of shots.
Absolutely.
Even though you're not exactly in shot position, it's definitely usable for later in the end.
So it seems to be an all-Hungary affair and out there on the sheets, both sheets at the moment. Hildy and George have also managed to steal a 4 in the second end. They're now up 5-0 against the younger Russian team here that just lost in the 3-4 game. They just lost to Victoria and Peter.
Yep.
So,
And the Russian team has now actually elected to choose their power play for this end. So what we just discussed, we've seen right into action. So they're trying to get back into this bronze medal game by scoring a couple of points. So we see now that the other Hungarian team in the bronze medal game, George and Ildi, have put their first rock in the top of the 4. Is that something that you see more often, Sherry, for the power plays? You've watched quite a couple games now this weekend.
I've seen a little bit of everything. All teams seem to be searching and trying to find the best way to play it. It is a new rule from WCF this year, being only introduced in October to the play. We'll be active with mixed doubles at the Worlds. Each one time per game, team can call a power play. Yep. You can choose to call it with the hammer. And instead of the stone being placed in the back of the forefoot, the stone is placed in front of the tee line, sectioning between the 12-foot circle and the 8-foot circle. For those who don't know what the power play is. And the second guard is put in a corner guard position, the same height halfway between the hog line and the top of the house. That stone forces the play to the corners, as in more traditional curling when you have the hammer.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different options here this weekend. Some teams have played a wick shot on the corner guard, putting it over into the center. That was a very successful outcome. They ended up with the center guard and could just come around it with their next one, took the play away from the middle. Some teams have thrown up a center guard. Some teams have gone on the top of the forefoot. Other teams have come around and froze on the stone in the house.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit here. It's interesting to see what different teams do, but I think this is also one of the things that the teams that really look into getting into mixed doubles very seriously want to discuss with their teammate and make sure that you know in advance what you're going to do, because you are going to have power plays to try and score extra points where you want to force the play to, and you're also going to see teams combating it differently. You also have to discuss this in advance. I think, considering the time clock, you want to make sure that you don't have a discussion on what you're going to do with your very first rock when your opponent calls a power play.
Absolutely. Communication and team process, no different than men's and women's play. Any discipline of curling is a mind game, and coming up with the right communication at the right time, and definitely the whole team being on one page. In this case, it's a pair being on one page. You have to make a decision, you have to stick with it, and you have to execute the shots to make the tactics and the strategy play out.
Absolutely. So getting back to our game, it's a pretty interesting situation here. We see two center guards in front of the house, and we have a Russian counter. I'm not sure which rock is actually second shot. Schultz was just looking at that. Doris now like to play a run back. Oh, just makes it by
nice
rubbing off the other center guard.
Nice little chip off that. They were trying to play that rock in the back of the forefoot there, but they managed to literally get a chip off the blue one at the top and play the other one.
That works quite well. Although Russia is still sitting shot rock, and they are shot behind the center guard, so they're trying to get another one in here. Try and control that zone again. But it's quite tough because the Hungarian shot on the left can always be tapped or run into the forefoot. So
and that was the stone really that Zsolt came up a little short with in the control line. So putting that playable shot up high in the house isn't necessarily a disadvantage. Doesn't necessarily have to get in for shot rock on the first stone. It just has to be accessible to play up later. Set-up shots in mixed doubles are really key.
Yep.
Stones in front of the tee line.
I think timing of when to use your setup shots as well is also really important. We've also had a couple of really nice setup shots, but then we couldn't get back to them because you only have 5 rocks. And me as not a mixed doubles expert, I'm used to having 8 rocks. So then you have a couple more extra to actually be able to tap or run or
all of a sudden you're at your last one, you're thinking, don't I have a couple more to come yet?
Yeah, exactly. So the ends are quick, and you have to really make sure that you play the shots with the right timing. You both players are actually on the same page when you want to go for which shot. As we see here,
A little bit of difference of opinion on what they want to do with this, whether they want to play a hit and roll off that outside yellow one, or onto that blue, or they want to play that yellow one straight back onto the blue. Both options can work. It's a matter of player having a preference of and knowing the ice. You need to consider the ice conditions, what's going to be the most effective shot, or the most manageable.
Yeah, I think they've elected to go for the tap back here. Although Scholl doesn't really look convinced yet.
Dorothy was taking a look from the hack to see what it looks like, and so after taking a look from the hack, they've kind of made the decision. I think they're going to play the. No,
could still be both shots with this ice, but
she's got
with
a
the
rotation
turn,
with the in turn, so
she's going for the tap back.
Ой, смотри, как он прям отвалил, видел?
Line is not good yet, I guess. She's being called off by Zsolt.
it's a really nice pace. She put that into a really great position there.
I think it's not completely open on the outturn side. It's a little bit buried.
Looks like it's got a little corner tucked in, which it'll be hard for them to get to the front of the stone, like to the nose of it. So they'll have to play it out at a bit of an angle.
And they have to negotiate their own rock in the back of the four as well. From this angle, the yellow rock actually goes onto the blue if you play it with the outturn and you're a little bit off center. So that's difficult to tap it back. You really have to make sure both line and weight are spot on. She's calling for a backline weight here.
Really good clear indications with this team. They've have a lot of indications, a lot of communication between the two themselves. Lots of experience with each other. Dori and Zsolt have played together for a few years now in mixed doubles. They've represented Hungary 3 or 4 times at the World Mixed Doubles Championships, winning 2 gold medals. Dron has had a couple different partners, having great success every time he's been to the Worlds. 5th last year together here with Victoria, so she's got the big guy working pretty hard coming down here.
Gonna squeeze by the guard?
It's by the front one. Maybe just be on the second one here.
No. Looks to be a little light as well, maybe. That's probably why it took off a bit more than they expected.
So that's a nice opportunity for Hungary to close the door here for close the door for them to get another rock in there.
In these situations, you always have to make a choice. You want to put another rock in there and try and get 2 counters and up the pressure, or you're going to throw up a guard and try to force the Russians to play any run backs and see if those angles work out for them. I would be then throw the guard here, I think. It's quite a tight hole already, and you can also block off part of that blue one that they might have to run in. So.
Well, these teams have a lot of experience on the men's and women's circuit as well. Victoria skips the women's team. Peter plays in the men's team. Also on the Champions Tour. First half of the season is pretty dedicated to the men's and women's program. And the second half of the season they switch up and focus on mixed doubles, participating in most events. They are one of the 3 selection teams that will participate in a qualification event, double round robin, and then a best of 5 playoff. The 4th team in the event for Russia will come through a national championship, and that's a national championship. Coaches are hoping to see Alexander and Anastasia qualify through that process. So they'll be hoping to gain up a whole lot of experience here and be able to represent Russia again at the World Mixed Doubles. the Hungarian couple here in the final have won their national championship and will be attending the World Championships representing Hungary in Karlstad in April.
Yeah, and we see Chult making a nice guard here, covering up the hole. So we'll probably see Russia playing some kind of an angle, run back, try and open up the scoring area a little bit. Because they want to capitalize on having a hammer here and score a couple of points. So now they're just choosing which angle they want to play in.
Well, from this angle, it looks like they could still have the draw down the intern side to the pin.
That's tough, though. You're also navigating the front
A
guards.
little rub off that outside yellow one is within the margin.
It's an option.
This would be a shot for two if she manages to get the angles on the line right.
I think that's the choice that they're making right now. I mean, the draw is there for one as well, but then you're only scoring 1 point anyway.
Absolutely.
So if you make this run back, you have potential to score two actually, if you hit it right on. Get the yellow one a little bit on the left side from the thrower perspective. Then
comes Victoria Moiseeva with delivery.
not throwing a lot of weight, nice control.
She looks pretty close here. Oh, no.
That is really...
That is pretty much the worst scenario that could have happened. She managed to... Didn't quite finish like they were expecting. Swept it a little bit early. And,
that is really unfortunate. She was
kicks
really
the
close.
blue one off the back. Very close to making the shot. That's a risk you take in mixed doubles quite often, and you can go either way on your teams there. That'll be another score of 3, I believe, for Palasonka and Gis from Hungary. He's got a high scoreboard really quickly, but as we've seen now a weekend, that could turn around really fast.
Absolutely.
Don't count either one of these teams out yet here.
I think we've seen one of the Dutch teams being 11-0 down, coming back to 11-8, was it?
Yeah, something like that,
a couple
yeah.
events. So you never know with mixed doubles.
And Russia's going to call their power play. So we're going to be able to see it here on the screen. Hammer, Russia, blue stones. They place their stone in the between the 8-foot and the 12-foot circle in front of the tee line. And they have a choice. They can place that on the in-turn or the out-turn handle. They can go either side of the house. They've chosen this side. This has been traditionally on this sheet. This is where they get the best curl in here. The second stone is placed in a guard position, creating a corner guard. And Hungary is still deciding what they actually want to do here. Yep. So even the world champions don't know what to do with this play yet. They're still exploring what the best options are.
Well, keep in mind, Jerry, they became world champions when power play was not actually being played at the World Championships. So
new rule introduced only in October.
So I think every team is still trying to figure out what they want to do in this situation. Because now they're actually 6 points up, so they probably haven't discussed this yet. So I think for these teams, it's really crucial to play these kind of events as well, and you actually experience this in a game. You actually find out what works for you and what doesn't. And you see here that they rub off a little bit.
So, pretty good attempt. Not too bad judgment on the weight there. They do create a little bit of a pocket for Russia to come down and create a pile.
It's quite tough as well because you do have to play this different line now. You're generally used to playing into the middle, and now all of a sudden you're taking ice pretty much on the center line, throwing to the side. The speed might be different from what you're expecting. So.
I think it's quite a great addition to the game of mixed doubles.
Absolutely, I think so too.
Increases the quality of skills and the knowledge of the teams to be able to make choices and play.
I think it also adds another dimension to the strategy that we see, because in previous World, I think most of the play was into the center, and well, I wouldn't say it would get repetitive because there's always different situations, but you generally see the first rock being made as a freeze on the pin, and you know, as soon as you make that first rock,
That's
it's really
unfortunate.
tough to get it out. So
It's an unfortunate throw for Victoria. Came in a little bit
Не
heavy.
засекал?
Used to the ice in the middle, thinking, okay, it's going to be a little bit stickier on this outside. Fresh ice, we haven't played it yet. The slide path is the same as they're sliding for the draw shot to the center. So that rock is traveling part way down a path that is broken in. So you put on a little bit too much weight, it glides down that, doesn't catch the pebble on the way coming out. So a little bit heavy there. Missed opportunity.
yeah, let's see if Hungary can actually put another rock in front of this. See if they can eliminate the blue rock by actually putting one in front of it. Trying to corner freeze on this blue, I believe. She seems to be working on the guard.
They've chipped that guard off a little.
But still, they created a bit of a center guard for themselves. So maybe they can try and draw the play into the middle a little bit more.
Нам надо как можно больше.
It's not a bad margin, really.
Просто так можем оставить под двойной.
I think also we've seen the team with hammer generally scoring 2 or 3 points when they have scored with the power play. If they haven't given up a steal because things went horribly wrong, maybe. But it might be good to actually counter the power play by being able to eliminate your opponent's rocks.
You are able to check on the results of power play and how effective it has been here at our event if you log into www.dutchmasterscurling.nl. On the line scores on the live feed, which you can also check on all our current games being played out here on the ice. If your favorite team or the team you want to know what's happening is not in the live feed, you can follow on the scores. On the score line on all of those games, if a team is called a power play, they are highlighted in blue, so you can see if teams have scored or not with their power play opportunities, or if they've had steals against them.
Yeah, good
Be an
point, Sharon.
interesting stat to follow at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that would be interesting for teams that are going to the World Mixed Doubles and they haven't had the opportunity to play many events. They can actually watch these games back on YouTube, but also see if they can find all the power play ends and just skip to those and see what happened, what the different teams did, what the kind of strategies were, how to counter the power play, and actually what the development of that end was. And then you can put it into training and see if you can do the same things and determine what you want to do in every situation.
Absolutely. So here we have this end building up. Haven't quite been able to get this line sorted out here. Dore is going to try and come down and just remove that blue stone. It can be removed. There's more than 3 rocks played now. Mixed doubles currently, you cannot remove a rock until after the 3rd stone is delivered. If it is removed, then you have to replace the removed stone, and the throw-in stone is then removed from play. This looks pretty nice. She's going to get end up kissing her own yellow one out. Didn't quite finish up as much as she hoped either. A little bit of miscall on the line there. Does remove the blue one, and it also chips out her own yellow.
Yeah, so they're only sitting 1 shot with the shooter.
And it is open.
So Russia now discussing whether they're going to throw a come around and really put the pressure on, ignore the shot rock for now, so they can actually try to score 3 points maybe. Because another option would be to just hit and roll the shot rock right now, sit 2 shot, go for your easy deuce. Maybe they have to take some risk here. They are 6 points down. So that's probably some of the discussion they're having right now.
Чуть-чуть смещают.
Moiseeva-Dron delivering the stone. Still not sure what they're calling. Actually, I think they're going for the come around. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, so there can go either way. Depends which rotation he throws, I think.
Yeah, it looks
like a draw.
Yeah. So they'll be going to put a come around here. Go for it. Probably put it in the top 8. They don't necessarily have to be shot rock with this because they're actually ignoring the shot rock for now. Make sure they get the 2nd and 3rd shot. And then see how Hungary deals with that.
Line's
looking a bit better on this one. I think it's partially buried, but still accessible for the
Nice
Hungarians.
shot. That's a little bit high. Maybe an angle there for a double. If they do play the double, they will potentially roll out as well.
Yeah, or they might actually hit their shot rock out.
Yeah.
Although I think it's pretty skinny double. They have to hit this
They're
one
pretty scummy.
pretty.
And they risk also jamming the X rock onto their back yellow one. So they have to be careful with their angles and their lines here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Victoria looks happy with Peter's delivery there. A little bit of a smile.
Yeah. Always important to keep the spirits up, right?
Absolutely. It's not always about what you miss. It's about how you respond when you do miss in order to be able to make the next shots effective.
Absolutely.
You can't rely on teammates to cheer you up, so you just got each other out there to fight the battle.
Nice hit and roll here.
Managed to remove that blue stone, roll a little closer to the center line, taking the play again back to the middle.
But it's still pretty open, so Russia can now choose to either hit the top rock and roll behind the sort of corner that they still have over there, or they can hit the shot rock and roll behind the yellow. I think they've elected to play the top one because it will be a very short run back for the Hungarians if they hit and roll behind the yellow counter in the top 8.
If they get the angle right, maybe get the double and the roll.
Yeah, exactly. That will be a bonus.
Looking to get everything possible out of this. It'll be communication all the way down, I'm sure.
I do think that you don't want to throw too much weight on this. It's really crucial to stick your shooter here if you want a chance to score multiple points here. Looks like pretty normal takeout weight. Yeah, should be good. It is floating on the other side of the center line a bit, though. Only hit the one.
Doesn't manage to move either Yellowstone from play. That's
again,
it's
some
an
tricky
unfortunate
ice
miss.
positions.
Absolutely.
You never really played a hit on the center line, though, right? Because there's generally a center guard there, so it's really hard to know whether the center line will be high or not, and if it's gonna curl off. This one just didn't work for them.
So far Russia's power play opportunity not working out very well for them.
Yeah.
So, got a little bit of discussion about what to do here. I think should be pretty simple. Eliminate that blue stone. Maybe you're discussing which rotation, which handle they want to throw on it.
And maybe where they want to leave their shooter, because if you roll anywhere behind that card, it
Sets
might
up.
be an option for Russia to draw into that, tap it back a little bit.
Absolutely.
So that's also something you want to consider. Doris calling Jolt to sweep this one really hard. Oh, looks like a nice hit.
Nice shot. Right on the nose.
Yep.
It stays. And Victoria will have to draw the house here for against 4, or she can play a hit on this outside yellow one.
I guess that's just player preference, right?
It's absolutely. Whichever it is, she's got to stay.
Yep. So another pressure shot here. Although effectively it's just a nose hit or draw to the forefoot. It's all a matter of how you're looking at it, right?
Perspective and mindset.
Yep.
So that'll be over here on sheet A. 2 rocks sitting on the button. It actually fits.
Interesting situation. I don't think they can. Oh, they have determined which is shot rock. Might not have been able to measure that anyway, because I think both rocks were almost touching the pin, so it was pretty much covered. There were, I think, 7 or 8 rocks in the forefoot as well.
Yeah, it was really crowded there. So Victoria elects to play the takeout and stay.
Very nice,
really nice control weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Russia scores 1 and keeps alive in this game. Score is now 8-3. Going into N5.
So that was the Russians' power play. Maybe not the way that they wanted this end to turn out, but I think they got away there with 1 point. Still alive in the game. Should be interesting to see if we get the Hungarian power play going now, or if they want to wait with that until later in the game.
They're going to go with the traditional style of
looks like
play.
it.
Hammer stone is going in the back of the forefoot. Guard and center line. Over on sheet A, a little update on score after 4 ends of play. It is 5-3 for Hungary.
Yeah. So it was actually a steal for the Russians, I believe.
Steal for Russia. George conceded the point.
Yep. So let's see if the Russians on our feature sheet can also make a comeback. Score, maybe get a steal here, make the score tighter again.
Really nice first stone coming around here.
Back play looks like good weight.
George's got a great one coming in.
Yeah, nice line. Sweeping it right to the pin. And the top button is a really good position for this first rock, I think.
Got the T-line.
Yeah.
So try and just follow that down, sit on the side of it.
I think if you have hammer in this situation, it's actually important to make sure you keep a little bit of an angle with these kind of shots and on your freezes and your tap backs. As soon as you actually overcurl and actually get to the nose of the shot rock in this situation, it's really tough to then play a little bit more weight and tap the shot rock out.
Absolutely.
So over here we do see that they chip off a little bit, but still an option for the Hungarians to come in there. The Russians will try and close that now by putting another rock on the top button, I believe.
Yep. You've seen the line. Play a little rub off that outside yellow one. If it's hanging a little bit, roll across the top.
That's another option, of course.
That would be an advantage of playing this way. A couple margin is a little bit bigger.
Yep. And of course they still can't hit this one yet. This is the last stone that they cannot remove any stones from play with. I don't think they'll want to though, but you know, it's always good to keep that in mind.
Just be hanging a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's like nice weight. Starting to come now. He's just going to tap that a little. Does stay on top of the forefoot, but open.
Yeah. So it is shrinking the scoring area a little bit now, actually. The Hungarians are choosing to play a hit on this outside blue one that Peter just threw. So traditionally, mixed doubles is quite a bit more offensive because we have the pre-positioned stone in the house and the center guard with the normal setup at least. And we see quite a bit more rocks in play, but when the score is up, you still want to make sure you eliminate your opponent's rocks and try and get the scoring area open a little bit. So that's what we see the Hungarians do right now. Hit the Russian blue rock on the top four. She will actually spill her own a little bit. That's not the worst outcome because she does open up the scoring area a bit. And, the two yellow counters that were in the back of the forefoot are actually a little bit more separated. So Russia will have to make sure that they make a really nice come around here and stay on top of this.
Можно меньше даже.
Слабее? Просто мы накопим. Хорошо, давай. Колодка.
So we now see the Russians. I think they elected to play a hit on this. It's pretty hard to get in with a draw weight. Should be a nice and controlled weight. Make sure you keep your shooter around.
Оу.
You need all the rocks on the top of the house that they can get.
Stay пока. Ничего.
Doria's calling him off for line.
Sweep, sweep.
Oh, there we go.
О, sweep, да-да-да.
Looks really close.
Да-да-да, roll нет. О, стой.
Very nice in a roll.
Молодец.
Making sure that they get their rock behind the center guard and
Такой
protecting the
напасный
shot rock.
момент был. Ну,
That's a really
как-то
nice
так
roll.
подклюнул и опять выпрямился.
It's always nice when you get those yeah, whoa kind of shots when you're being called on and off for line. And you usually know that you're really close.
Power уже был. Конечно, есть.
We'll now see the Hungarians trying to get a rock
Это да.
frozen onto the shot rock, so they'll try and come around the one at top 8, just biting the puck at top 4 maybe,
Чего?
and try and set up the angles for themselves a little bit so they can play it into the shot rock later.
Да, конечно. Просто мы попали в самую неудачную точку. Не, была еще одна более неудачная. Там можно было 4 отдать.
The sheet might look a little empty right now, but sheet C is actually finished already. We have a score of 12-2 for the Estonian team that over there played the Belgium team.
Опасно.
And they're catching their flight right now. And on sheet A, the play was on the other side. So
Сюда хорошо.
that's why it might look a little empty. But don't worry, we still have 2 very exciting games going on over here.
Если что,
Sheet A is actually
косой на верхний.
the other Hungarian-Russian game, bronze medal game, which is also pretty important for the points and a little bit of prize money that we have over here. And, you know, we always want to get the early wins in the beginning of the mixed
Так же
doubles
стою,
season.
как первый.
And if you meet these teams later in the season, you know, you have an advantage over them already mentally. But the situation is looking pretty good for the other Russian team that's playing the bronze medal game. They're sitting shot rock
Ой, да
behind some nice
поуже.
center guards.
Подправил.
And in our feature game,
Свип.
pretty much the same situation.
Есть норма.
Надо наш верхний пройти. Давай. Оу, оу. Свип, свип.
Степ.
Оу.
Лёгкий
Свип.
степ. Надо
вообще не бросать.
So missed a little bit here. Yep. What have we been seeing in the last few stones?
Well, you missed
Looks
a
like
really
some nice
great,
rocks in play.
Yeah, really great hit and roll by Moiseeva-Dron. Took out one of the Hungarians ones sitting in the top 8 and rolled for the one that's now almost biting the top 4. So they pretty much covered their shot rock, and Hungary is really struggling to try and set up the angle. But let's see if they can get in there now and maybe get right into the pocket of these blue ones. Then it'll be a good situation for them. But right now it's looking pretty good for the Russians. It still looks like the ice is not curling that much actually. But you know, that's the same for both teams, so.
That's some really great ice preparation here. Compliments to Mark Nadelman and his crew of Dan and Diedrich and Kimberly putting a lot of hours in on the ice, creating great championship conditions here for participants. Also great thanks to Bob and Vincent for umpiring this weekend. Really great volunteer committee busy here in our
they do
facility.
great work. The ice was really fast as well. It's always nice to play those draws and get that feel. And, be able to control whether you're throwing guards or where exactly in the house you want your rocks to end up. Meanwhile, we see a really nice little tap and roll by Dori from Hungary. She got into the second shot position, I believe. It's quite difficult to see here, but
It's looking like it's blue at the moment,
yeah, I
but
think so. But
that's okay. They're
it'll be tough
few
to get
points
another
up.
one in there for the Russians.
They don't necessarily need to score. They have to eliminate their opponent from scoring to catch up.
Yeah.
So maybe be a little bit more protective in their choices.
Probably, yeah.
Russia's going to be willing to take a little bit more risk, so may move things before they're done. Nice smiles down there.
So I think I'll try and put another one maybe nestled in here, or are they going to guard it up, do you think?
I think they're throwing one right into the pot there.
Yeah. That's what I thought. both options would work, I
Good
guess.
communication
They
from
are
the two
big
players.
shots.
Yeah, good communication from the players coming down there. Quite clear what they want to do, where they want to put it.
So they end up with the center guard. I think that works quite well. Hungarians will be forced to play on the other side.
That's their choice. They didn't want to bring it in too close and leave the opportunity for Hungary to somehow make a triple on those. So
Yeah.
elected to just guard that up, and
And they made a nice shot there.
absolutely.
I think it's also important to keep these kind of shots not too close to the house, because as soon as you are down a couple of points, you don't want your opponent to be able to play any run backs and move the rocks around. If you're happy with the angles the way they are, and if you're setting shot rock especially, so they want to make sure that they keep that one nice and high. Now the Hungarians are forced to play anything on the outturn side. Not sure if they are going to tap this or maybe play a hit. Not sure how much you can see of that top blue one.
Yeah, they're having a little quicker conversation here. Let's see if we can figure out what they want to say.
Looks like another setup shot actually. So if they get another one in the top of the forefoot, sort of angled onto the shot rock, they might be able to
Set up a play on the yellow later on in the end.
Oh no, this is the last shot already, so guess we missed that. This is last shot, so I think they'll just try and tap the blue one an inch. I'm not sure if you can tap it more than that, but
I think the blue one shot rock actually, yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I don't
so
think they want to. They'll just want to tap it back a little bit.
yeah,
Score 2.
try and move that. Wow, I think they're just going to score one here actually. Your shooter's not going to stay for a second point. You're just going to move this blue shot rock just a touch. So Landry, the cruiser here, she'll be called on for the sweep.
Looks like that's over curled, and he's going to hit that front one. And
That still might work for them.
Nice shot.
Yep, that's another option. So
So maybe
Hungary
that was their
scores
plan?
on- Yeah, probably.
it's maybe a little bit easier than trying to pick off that blue one onto the backside there. So took an opportunity to use the rocks in play, placing their user stones up a little higher.
Yeah.
Being in front of the tee line, you can see you always have the opportunity.
Yeah, seeing the angles right is always important as well. Making sure you know which rocks are going to go where when you hit them in what position.
Absolutely. We took a good
Did
look
that
at
well.
any angles, discussed what the opportunities were. You always want to talk about risk and reward, what you're going to leave, not necessarily for yourself, but also for your opponent. And you want to look a couple rocks ahead so that you can have an opportunity to play a shot.
Yeah.
You've had some opportunity this season to play quite a lot of CCT events, Curling Champions Tour events. Thank you to CCT, Armin Harder, and all his crew of creating these great opportunities for competitive play. You've had some opportunity to play 3 games playoff days.
Yeah.
How's that been? How do you think these athletes are all feeling out here at this stage of the tournament?
Well, the fatigue's got to go into the team spirit a little bit. I mean, you know, you're playing your third game of the day, or actually for
Hungary, it's
Hungary,
fourth.
it's the 4th game of the day, and there's not a lot of room between the games, so it's a really quick turnaround between the first game, the next game, the next game. I think the teams over here had 15 minutes between the first and the second game, then an hour between the second and the third, and then another 15 between 3 and 4. So you don't really have time to recover, and what we've noticed is that you can generally keep up the adrenaline enough when you're getting those wins and you're getting further into the tournament, so you are actually burning a lot of energy, and you can generally get through the games, but at one point you do notice that you get a little tired. You really make sure that you want to have an extra drink or an extra snack and keep up your energy level, because as soon as you get tired, your technique might have a little bit of a hiccup here and there, or you might not be able to sweep as hard as you can in the beginning of the tournament. So really keep that in mind as well. Sometimes it's really difficult to play finesse shots as well when your concentration is maybe not 100% anymore. But I guess that's also why every team works hard in the gym right now. It's definitely what we do, and no doubt these teams are in there just as much as other athletes. So you really want to make sure that in these kind of events play on that Sunday and you play well.
Yeah, you definitely need to bring the performance game at the end of the weekend.
Yeah. So these are also the teams that you're going to meet in the World Championships, and they're working just as hard as you are. So,
Victoria's
this is
coming
why you
down
need
here.
to bring your A-game.
Absolutely. So Victoria's coming down there. She's just trying to put another one on top of that forefoot there. So now
Just
to get
squeezes by
between there.
guard. Yeah.
She's going to tap that back. Peter came up a little bit short, and Victoria thought, okay, maybe the ice is changing a little bit. Maybe put a little bit extra on. The game on the sheet C is over, so sometimes that'll create a little bit of different ice condition to change players are aware of.
Yeah, might be a little bit more curl here as well, because we saw Schultz actually wreck on the center guard with this come around.
Yeah.
And Victoria also has a lot of rotation, so maybe that helps with not over curling on that, but it does make sure that it keeps gliding a little bit further. So that's maybe why her rock was a little heavy on that one.
Victoria will come down and just sit on top of that, tap back that blue stone. She cannot remove it from play. If it is removed from play, it is replaced. Looks a little bit warm here. Victoria, Moiseeva-Dron will make an attempt to sweep that, but just tap them both, so neither one leaves play. Peter will come down and just freeze on top of that yellow one.
As it is buried, actually, I think, behind the stone that was actually pre-positioned before the end. You can see that with the X marked on the stone over there. The left guard that we still have over here on the sheet.
So we're actually getting some, as you can see with the no takeout rule, rocks already getting put into play here. Getting consistency, and anytime rocks are in play, there's always a scoring opportunity.
Yep. And there's already 2 rocks in the forefoot and a guard in front of it. And another one that's actually closing off a possible draw to the forefoot. So that's also something that you need to consider when you're determining the tactics for the rest of the end. Because Hungary definitely wants to score in this, or I'm sorry, Russia definitely wants to score in this end.
They really need a multiple to stay in the game here, I think, yeah.
So they really need to make sure that they keep this scoring area open for themselves.
That's a really nice finesse shot by Mr. Dron. This comes up just next to, not quite touching the yellow stone on the forefoot, but it's shot stone.
He doesn't seem to struggle with this line as we've seen with the other players. That was a really nice angle as we see from the camera angle here.
Absolutely great. Christian Libron just set up a really great camera program for us here. Thanks to Secure for loaning some cameras for us for the great broadcast that we're able to bring you this weekend.
Absolutely.
Cameraman out there on the ice, Lawrence, bringing you these close-up feeds.
Yeah, I even watch some of the webcasts at home, even though I'm only 10 minutes away. Just like being there.
So for all of you watching at home, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the show. Getting the opportunity to watch some mixed doubles curling. World-class athletes out here on the ice. Bringing lots of great shots for you to this weekend.
So interesting result here with their 3 center guards set up. Hungary is actually 6 points up. And they're blocking off the center to make sure that Russia has
a minimum scoring zone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something you would never really see in traditional curling, but what makes the game of mixed doubles so exciting is that the rocks are already there, so you have to deal with them, and sometimes the choice is actually to put more rocks in play and guard it up to make sure that your opponent cannot score more than one.
Look at the body language of Hungary out there. I'd say they're getting a little tired. After each shot, they're going back, having a drink, and leaning against the boards, looking a little bit flush. Russia will be wanting to pay attention to that, to recognize the fatigue is maybe going to start setting in and coming up, taking a little bit of block. Maybe Hungary's looking at a way to maybe get out of this game a little bit earlier, taking a little bit of chance. So
they're getting some rest here though now. I think they'll still be able to make their shots anyway, even with a little bit of fatigue. They know what to do when they're tired to still get the job done.
Absolutely. Dory's just coming off playing her junior women's champ team qualifying with a bronze medal at the World Junior B competition. Qualifying her team for a spot for the first time ever for Hungary juniors to participate in World Championship.
Yeah, well done on that.
Coming up in March. Congratulations to her and her teammates.
Absolutely.
Hard-working squad, lots of dedication. They also play women's. So. Oh, nice run back. Picks off that yellow rock at the back. Mr. Dron, good execution.
Absolutely. Great job.
Nice line calling by Victoria to see that. And no, it does leave the center line open again. So Hungary does have an opportunity to play into those blue ones, maybe remove them. Looking for just a tap back. They're not so excited about throwing hits here, so.
Yeah, oh, it could be an option if you just leave your shooter in front of that and create a little bit of a pocket on the back of the four. It'll be really tough for Russia to remove that one again, so it's definitely an option. But do keep in mind that you're already 6 points up, so if you can eliminate, that might be a better option.
Might be a better advantage, yeah.
I'm not sure. Remember, we are in the 6th end, and they still have 2 more ends to go. So.
We didn't see that in the last game as well. They, at some point, Judith and I were both talking about the fact that it might start eliminating, but they never did, so. It is their style. They're comfortable with it. They've got a lot of experience. They trust each other completely. They have great communication with each other, and they have a game plan when they start this game, and they're going to execute it.
Absolutely, and if you still make those shots, then there's nothing wrong with them, right?
Absolutely not. Just over curls there. Peter immediately says, let's put up a guard there.
Yep. Russia really quick to defend these rocks, sitting pretty nicely actually. Although if they try to play a come around here, the rocks in the forefoot will be quite open, so they have to throw something in front of this shot rock right here. Maybe the decision will be throw it up a little higher. I think might be an option to also throw it right into the house. But then you'll definitely see Hungary removing some of them. I think right now they just want to be just in front of the house, make sure they protect this nice situation they have in the forefoot.
So if you're joining us from Russia and from Hungary, hello to all our teammates out there. Both teams wanted to wish hello and say hello to their teammates who are hopefully enjoying the game. And don't forget to get to the gym later, I was told to tell you. These guys are doing their work here. You guys got to do your work in the fitness center.
Yeah. So. And make sure you keep the laptop with you and watch the live stream while you're at it.
Pedal that bike.
Yeah.
So really good communication going on between Peter and Victoria here. Lots of experience together. 5th last year at the World Mixed Doubles Championship. They'll be hoping to qualify for Russia again this year. And have an opportunity to represent their country. Really great support in Russia. Curling's really growing. A new training facility in Sochi. And I believe their teammates are there now. Teammates that are not on the ice with them here.
Great investment for all these players. Good commitment to develop their game and keep getting better, playing lots of tournaments and training hard.
Really nice guard throw shot here.
Yeah, very nice line.
Execution and communication about the line, getting it into a good position. High fives from the teammates there.
Yeah.
Complimenting each other. Creating their chances to come back in this game. Semi-finals were a Russia affair. And that was Anastasia and Alexander was the other couple. And a little bit of a fall on the ice there. George went down on the ice. And Rock came across the sheet, and he's replacing a stone that he tripped over and bringing the other rock into play. Both sheets helping out here.
It looks like he's okay, though.
Waved a hand that he's okay, and it's back up.
That's always the first priority, make sure that the player is okay. And then they'll deal with the situation.
Russia cleaning the ice underneath there. I was just saying the Russia couple were actually playing against their teammates from men and women's.
Yep.
Victoria plays together with Anastasia in the women, and Peter and Alexander are teammates. They're both here with coaches for each team has their own coach this weekend here. So really great coaching staff coming along to spending the investment and the time helping develop teams in the mixed doubles. So really exciting to see the crews investing in this discipline.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely what you need, especially going into the Olympics in 2018 right now. The development of all the teams, making sure that they have the same program, the same commitment, and the same support network as the traditional curling teams.
Absolutely. The camaraderie between the teams as well. The two Russian teams were really friendly, really respectful, really supportive, and seem to have a really good energy going on in Russia right now. We really like seeing it. We see them on the circuit as well, and compliments to the program there. They're building some nice, really polite young athletes, and it's really nice to see that development.
Yep. So here we see Jolt. I think they're opting to go for their run back, try to remove as many blue ones as possible. No, oh no, they're going around. Okay, they're removing this one.
I don't think that was the intention.
Well, I'm not sure. Might have been. They are eliminating another rock, so maximum that the Russians can score now.
Very true, yeah.
So
we're not sitting right behind the sheet. We have the cameras in view, but we are not sitting behind the sheet. So sometimes we miss a little bit the angles that they're discussing and they're asking about.
And of course, we don't really understand Hungarian or Russian, so it doesn't help to not know what their discussions are.
So our apologies if you're following along and do understand the language and we're not making the right assumptions.
Yeah.
You're getting a better view at home. We'll try and let the athletes have their mics turned up so you can hear them discussing. That's so all our Russian and Hungarian viewers can follow along the discussions on the ice.
So it looks like Victoria is now playing a nice draw in here, and she's actually coming across the center line, just throwing towards the 8-foot, because the hole between the right corner guard, actually from the forward's perspective, and the center guard in the blue is the biggest hole to go through. So
and it's a line they played a little more often. So
yeah, they played this with the power play entry. Option B is to tap this back.
Absolutely, you're right to the nose of that, which is a really nice call.
Yeah,
she can get the lines right.
And she just gets a rub, and she will stay for a third shot. So a big
pretty
score
good
at
outcome.
3.
They leave a center guard, and stone. Sorry. So it is a draw for 3, raise for 3.
Yeah.
Figured that was the best way to get into that center.
Yeah.
And Russia makes a little bit of comeback here.
Absolutely.
3 stones. Only 3 stones separating them now. So you saw how potential it is to score a 3-ender. They'll have to take a little more risk. Only 2 ends to go and play. Regular play.
Just put your rocks in play and see what happens. So we got 2 more ends to go in this exciting final. And, right now, we'll have the Hungarians having the hammer back. They'll most likely choose their power play right now. Yeah, looks like it. So they'll make sure that they can score a point here and not give up a steal, which will get the Russians back into the game. So they're just, I don't think they really want to score, or they're really going hard to score more than 2 points or anything, but they just want to make sure that they get away with a couple here and not give the Russians a chance to come back.
So, power play.
So another way to combat the power play for the Russians here we see, I think. They're throwing a draw to the center and actually playing a center guard first. So there's different ways you can handle this as well. You can throw a center guard first and then try and draw the play to the middle later on by playing come-arounds. Or you can put the first rock in the top of the 4, because remember, you still can't hit them. Well, you can't remove them from play. And some teams actually choose to put this first one in the top 4. Although that does leave your opponent the choice to actually tap it back and get it away from the 4-foot.
Or put it in the back of the 4-foot so they can use it as their advantage.
That's another option.
So
I like the center guard option, actually. And you'll now see Hungary.
Especially if you're down points.
Yeah, definitely. Hungary going around it, trying to beat the Russians around the center guard. A smart choice to go around the outturn side, so they draw the play away from the shot rock that they already have sitting on the other side of the sheet and in the house.
ладно, нет.
So I just want to say a big thank you to all our volunteers here at Curling Band Zoetermeer and Curling Club PWA. It's a club that plays here locally. A lot of the parents from the juniors out here also, and from the men's team, our parents out here participating, helping out this weekend, driving athletes and working in the canteen. Lawrence and Carlo have put together a really great crew here of volunteers. Thank you very much for all your time and your effort. Without volunteers, these events certainly couldn't run as effectively or as well as they do.
Absolutely. So. And all of them are trying to make the teams as comfortable as possible, make sure that they can play their best when they're on the ice and have as much rest when they're not. And great job to them for making the players feel welcome at home and well taken care of.
Yeah, Judith was passing along that comment earlier on the broadcast this morning. It's great to have Judith McCleary from Scotland join me in the semi-final game for the broadcast. Got another perspective on the ice, so lots of experience. Judith and Lee here, just losing out to this morning.
So to update you on the other game that's going on, we have the bronze medal game between the other Hungarian and the other Russian team that are here. So the score in the first two ends was 5-0 for the Hungarians, but the Russians have made a great comeback and they're now actually ahead in the game, 6-5. So they're in the 7th end right now, and Russia is looking to keep on stealing. Let's see if the Hungarians can get a couple points back on the board and try and get back into this. We'll keep you updated.
Making our feature game. Hungary just choosing to move some rocks around now, getting some of the lines open here. Finally removing that center guard that was placed up. As you can see, that corner guard is still sitting in place, and nothing's been done with that side. So Hungary was successful. Russia was successful at drawing them away from that center, from that corner guard.
Yeah.
Russia's still sitting shot rock in the back of the forefoot. And they'll be looking to put another one in the house here.
It is pretty risky though, so they're only sitting one shot and Hungary sitting second and third shot. And that is what you see with the power play, because those initial rocks are not in the center. It's really hard to get the play going in the center, because the team with hammer can also hit at first. So if they choose, they can eliminate that center guard that you threw up with your first. And you gotta keep making those perfect guards to actually get that steal.
Свип! Свип! По линии! Ол! Супер! Молодец!
So Russia was successful in throwing a nice center guard up there, covered their stone in the house. Dore will just remove that. Straight peel. Not making contact with any stones in the back here, actually. She's going to pick off her own yellow stone here. A bit of fatigue settling in here, I think. It was a little bit sloppy with the last couple of releases. Last couple run backs haven't quite worked out to their advantage. So they're just going to rush to throw another guard. Continue to apply the pressure on Hungary. Maybe sensing the frustration coming in now. Hungary will just have to keep their composure and their positive energy. Both these teams very experienced. Really soft touch there by Moiseeva-Dron coming out from Russia. Nice shot, Victoria complimenting Peter on his hard work there, throwing, delivering, and sweeping. So, nice guard. It is quite long, does leave enough room for a come around.
Backline.
Or a little tap, maybe.
Little tap. Little tap's ideal if they could tap in the back of the 12 foot. It's out of the scoring position. That would be ideal for them.
Yeah.
Brings their other yellow rock on the side into play. Ultimately, they would like to be sitting shot stone after this.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would put the pressure on the Russians to get a hit and roll back, or at least get shot rock again.
Пока не цепляем. Надо полностью вы. Да-да-да.
So just going to go a little full. Doesn't curl up.
Откуда?
Looks like the weight was alright there.
Давай.
Just didn't curl up for them.
Not quite getting the right ice weight combinations here at the last couple ends, or not so clean on the releases. And I mentioned it's the 4th game for the Hungarian couple in a row. So a little bit demanding, quite taxing physically.
Катит хорошо?
They are in incredibly great shape, but at the same time, you've had to travel to get here, and you're eating different food. You're not at home sleeping in your own bed, so a lot of adjustments have to be made for top athletes to be able to perform on the last day and all the pressures of the big game.
Yep, absolutely.
They do know how to perform. They've won 2 gold medals at World Championships, so Dory just qualified for the Worlds in the juniors, so she may be still recovering from that event as well a bit.
Yeah, those things definitely take some energy as well. I mean, they're focusing on different things. You know, there's men's, women's, even juniors for them, as you said, and then mixed doubles now. It's quite a change as well, because they do have to start focusing on something different right now. It's a different play, different game actually.
So they'll be taking whatever lessons they get out of this weekend, regardless of the results, and applying them to be able to perform when they get to the Worlds in Karlstad. So
yeah,
I think they're just happy to have this opportunity to be getting back on the ice together as pairs and getting some competition play so early. This is a new series this year. The Curling Champion Tour was really quick after the announcement that mixed doubles being accepted on the Olympic venue for Korea.
Yeah, it's great to see so many CCT events already.
9 this season.
Yeah.
Lots of excitement.
It's a really good opportunity for all these teams to play games, make sure they can find some tournaments that fit in their schedule, and they can make sure that they play enough games and get a lot of extra experience before they play the Worlds.
A little more curl up there. Got the line a little bit better. Tori's going to work to get that out of play. She does get it moved out to being second shots. They do score 1.
Yeah. So, nice little sweep there in the back of the house. She knows how to do it as a skip.
Good work.
Yeah. So the Hungarians will steal, or actually score 1, and we'll have a 10-6 score going into the final end. So the Russians will have to score 4 to tie it up. Quite a task, but anything's possible.
Everything is possible. We have seen 4 scored, 5 scored in the first, in the second end here today. So
yeah, absolutely.
And we do know it's possible. It's level of these teams. It doesn't happen very often, but anything is possible.
Yeah.
Just looking over here in the other in the 3-4 game, and Russia has a nice yellow rock, totally cushioned in a triangle of a square of.
It's completely surrounded.
Surrounded. It's quite an interesting picture. Maybe our Iceman Lawrence out there on the sheet can get a shot for us. Don't see this very often.
Yeah. Although I'm not sure if the yellow one's actually going to go very far, because it is also frozen completely on the back of the blue one.
I don't know how they're getting that out of there.
I think they're opting to play a run back now. I'm not entirely sure.
I think they're going to have to.
Yeah. Well, maybe George from the left hack or left-hander hack over here can see a little piece of the most right blue one.
He's going to have a different view from most players.
Yeah, especially if he joins our sheet.
Nice shot there by from Dory. Comes down, puts it on top of the 4 foot.
That already makes it so tough to score for. If you get that first one in there really nice, the Russians will have to deal with it at some point.
Внимание! Только вес.
Может подсесть, у него очень подсел.
Только вес. Меня чуть шире идет. Так нельзя, лучше 8 оставить.
So, Victoria just coming down and freeze on top of that blue one there. Looks a little bit warm. It's going to come by. It's going to come up against the blue one at the back of the forefoot.
Yeah.
There's some decisions for Hungary. They're just going to come down and freeze on top of that, right into that little pocket there.
Yeah. Ideally, you'd hit that, but they still aren't allowed to. So.
No, mixed doubles rules. You cannot remove a rock from play until after the third stone is delivered.
So they will come down and just freeze on top of this, which will also effectively eliminate both rocks if you mix it, right? So in that sense, there's always choices to eliminate rocks. No, but for Russia, it's still not a bad situation. Both their rocks are in the back of the forefoot, but still in play, and they can potentially be counters. Working hard to get the line right on this one, I think. Speed looks okay, but slowing down quite a bit, but very nice shot there.
Really nice freeze in there.
Yeah.
Executed that very well. She's had a couple of missed shots this end, but needs to pull out a big one out of her pocket this one, and she does exactly that. Well done, Dora.
Yeah. So now Russia will try and move these rocks a little bit, I believe. They'll have to make sure that they move the angles around a little bit and sit on top of this with their shooter. Doesn't look like a lot of ice. Do you think they're putting a bit more weight on this one?
I think Yildiz shots generally curl a little bit more than George, so. Oh, no, sorry, in the sheet. This sheet?
Yeah, no, our feature sheet.
We want to get in the inside of that.
Yeah, ideally.
Tap his own back a little bit, just get a little bit of room to get that yellow one free.
Yeah, looks like he's playing a little bit of a backline to hack weight-ish.
We'll have to negotiate to get it past that front guard.
Really hard, exactly. Victoria calling really hard to squeeze it by the guard.
Call.
Yeah. I was actually
Just
making a
gets
really
in.
nice one. Just a little chip off the top yellow one in the forefoot and still sits for shot right
Does
there.
change the angles and takes away the freeze at the back, so that yellow one can now be removed from play. That is a little bit of risk when you have that little wall and you get one stuck there. It's kind of hard. You have to make a play to be able to hit that clean at some point. So doing that early and keeping all three rocks in play is quite an ideal shot there.
The only problem for them is that they actually moved the yellow a little bit too far, I believe,
Yes.
because they did just wreck on the top one and got a little bit of a different angle. So Hungary will be able to remove some of these rocks. And, that will limit the scoring opportunity for the Russians.
Trying to eliminate as many as possible here.
Yeah.
Having only 5 stones thrown and 1 stationary stone, only 6 rocks in play. So really only have to eliminate 3 stones to officially win the game, and 2 stones to confirm a tie.
Meantime, you heard a little bit of applause on the background. That was because the Hungarian team managed to get the yellow counter from the Russians on our bronze medal game that we mentioned, that was so nestled in between all those Hungarian stones away from the button, and I believe they scored 3 there. So Hungarians right back into the game after not scoring for 4 ends. They're managed to score a nice 3-ender, and yeah, they are now up 8-6 going into the final end.
It's quite a turnaround.
Yeah. Good mental toughness there, to even after getting the momentum, giving that a little bit to the Russians. Getting it right back and scoring 3. In our feature game, we see Dory successfully removing 1 of the Russian counters.
Okay.
I think Russia is still sitting shot rock on the back of the button though. So they will now come down and try a corner freeze on the top yellow one. Make sure they keep a little bit of an angle, because you do want to be able to remove that rock later on with a little tap.
Really great focus on the faces of the athletes there. Victoria really concentrating on her partner down there, Moiseeva-Dron, to line of delivery. She'll make the line call after he lets it go. He'll jump up and come and sweep it. Constant communication between the two players. Looking for the best execution possible.
Yeah, really making sure they communicate the weight and the line to each other. Really get the ideal rock positioning for this shot.
And again, just gaze that guard coming across.
Yeah, perfect line call.
Really,
And well swept.
really great heads up, great execution of that stone.
That's a really good spot for that one as well. I don't think it's removable for the Hungarians, and it still leaves the Russians with a lot of options.
Forces the Hungarians to choose whether they want to go to the other side and play the side that's been running a little bit straight for them there.
Yeah, they can now go to the out-turn side and actually tap back the yellow counter, and just touching the top of the dolly that they have right now.
You can also choose to just try and get rid of the back blue one by playing a promotion on the yellow one.
Yeah, that's another option.
Anyway, they'd like to remove a stone or put theirs in a more secured scoring position.
You could even throw a double off your own yellow if you want to remove the one in the button. You have to throw it a little hard, but that's definitely there as well.
They're fully discussing it. They want to really play their options. They certainly don't want to get into a position where they're leaving a comeback opportunity for Russia with 4 stones. So that's so great for the emotion. So just discussing that double you talked about, yeah, coming off their own yellow. And the one I talked about, playing the yellow one back. So they're also exploring all the different options. Great experience. Great opportunity for these players. And nice that we get to hear and see this.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the ice, it's always a little more difficult than what we are doing right now, sitting behind the glass and watching the overhead. We always see the different options, but that's, you know, from a different perspective. When you're on the ice, it's sometimes tough to see all the perspectives and all the choices that you have. But they seem to be doing it well and have a nice discussion and came to a conclusion, I believe. They're throwing a freeze on that.
These are situations where you really recognize the team's experience together as partners and opportunities they've taken to play. You see another team that was really exceptional was Judith and Lee McCleary. Their communication processes are absolutely phenomenal. They have really clear guidelines about how to play shots, where to play shots, and who takes charge of it when it's necessary. So
that's another dimension of the mixed doubles play, of course. I mean, in a team of 4, it's different because there's a whole team process, but with the 2 of them, it's just 2 players, and you're gonna have to deal with the other one. And just you know, personal relationships are sometimes also involved. You really have to make sure that you communicate in a way that you're both performing the way that you should be, and you don't take it personally when you're on the ice, because you're both doing the best you can to make sure that you perform the best. And,
keep it about the game.
Keep it about the game.
It looks like Dory chose my first option that we came up with.
Yeah, exactly.
She chose to play that, was the least risk shot to play.
And then eliminates another Russian counters.
Absolutely. So
that was the goal there, and she made
nice
it.
Execution.
Yeah.
Russia will need to put another one in play that's in scoreable position. Does not have to be scoring at the moment. It just has to be in play to force Hungary to make a play on them.
So, do you think they'll be playing another corner freeze on this 2
I
rocks
would say
in the
so,
top 4?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Set the angles up right. A little bit harder for Hungary to clear it out because they've got the jam and there's 2 yellow ones on the backside there.
And Dron again working really hard to keep the line, but it looks like he won't be able to do this. They are racking on the guard. That's unfortunate for them. The weight looked pretty good actually, but took off a bit more. As we said, it might be curling a bit more right now.
Really unfortunate for them there. And they conceded the game and they're shaking hands. Well fought effort. Yep. That one just clipped the guard, trying to make the perfect shot. Took it a little bit tight. High fives. Congratulations to Zsolt Kiss.
Yep. And Dori
Kiss. Kish. It's not Kiss, I was told. It's spelled Kiss in English, but It is actually pronounced Kish.
All right.
So, Mr. Kish, congratulations.
Yeah. And also well done to the Russian team. They fought hard out here and played a good tournament. They played well, and I'm sure they're happy with the way they played. And in a while they can look back at this and take the lessons. And maybe they're a little disappointed right now, but I'm sure they'll take this as another experience, and we'll be back in the next one. I'm sure they'll make another couple of finals.
No doubt this will be great preparation for their mixed doubles preparation coming up to the championships. These teams are going to have some great experience to take along with them on their journey for the rest of the season. And thanks to Curling Champions Tour for creating this great events to give all these top teams an opportunity to elevate their game, no different than the men's and women's tours and the junior tour that are out there, offered by Curling Champions Tour, for teams to develop their skills and their team abilities. Here we have now the mixed doubles. I think is going to definitely create a higher level of Olympics when the teams qualify. All the teams on the top level definitely participating. So great opportunity for all the teams to gain. And here they are. On our other game out here, don't have it in view, but we'll can't get it in view. I'll just give you a quick update. Playing the last end coming down. A couple more rocks to go.
Yep. Hungary is sitting shot rock right now, I believe. The center line is open from guards. But we have the couple of rocks in the forefoot. There's a Hungarian counter in the top button, and it's pretty much in a pocket of another Hungarian rock and a Russian rock behind it. So probably pretty difficult to remove this one from play. Russia just tried to play a run back and just missed it. So they were trying to rearrange the angles a little bit, but that didn't really work out. So now Hungary is trying to guard it back up. They overgrow a little bit, so there might be an option for the Russians to play a hit on this. And,
Russia will need to score 2 in order to tie this game to force an extra end.
Exactly.
They do currently have the rocks in play.
They have the 2 rocks in the back of the forefoot, but as I said, the Hungarians are sitting shot rock, and they will have to deal with this because it's sitting pretty good right there. So whether they try and tap this a little with a little softer weight, with a hack weight maybe, or if they actually throw a peel weight and try to get rid of it completely, that's up to them.
So in our feature game, Team Hungary, Senka and Kish defeated Dron and Moiseeva 10-6, the final score. Congratulations to our first and second place teams. Both win points on the Curling Champions Tour and take home a little bit of money as well.
Exactly. And of course the honor of being the very first Dutch Masters Curling Mixed Doubles champions. That goes to the Hungarian team.
And here's Russia coming in with a shot to try and pick off the blue. He's coming in on top, keeping his shot rocks also in play. He eliminates one of the blue. He's now sitting with one at the top of the top of the button and a couple yellow ones frozen at the back. There is unfortunately a blue one in the middle of the button that is scoring at the moment.
Yeah.
So 3 yellow rocks, still potential in play for Team Russia to make a little comeback and tie up this game.
So there's different options here now. The Hungarians really need to consider what the Russians have left to play with their last shot, because the angles don't really look in the Russians' favor. They might have a potential corner run back here on one of the guards that they have laying there. And if they manage to pick off the shot stone of the Hungarians, they will score 3 points. But it looks like the Hungarians are now going to guard this shot, make sure that the Russians cannot play the angle run back, because it doesn't look like they have other shots to potentially score their 3. Remember, they do need 2 to actually tie it and go for the extra end. But that Hungarian rock is nestled in there pretty nicely, so they are most afraid of the Russians playing the run back, so we'll guard that up, I believe. Oh no.
They're thinking that's the best option.
You now see on our overview sheet. All right, here we go.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Christian. Christian Librand just managed to give us an overhead sheet. It's a little bit of an angle for us, but that doesn't matter. You can see where the rocks are. Turn your head a little sideways and follow along.
So the yellow rock on the top of our screen, what we actually see right now. Oh, there it is.
Hey, we
Perfect.
have technical skills in
Always
our
on
camp.
top of the technical
Thank you,
possibilities here,
Christian.
Christian.
So here you have the situation in the house in a moment. And,
So as we see, the angle right now is not very in favor of the yellow rocks right now. The blue one is pretty hard to remove.
so they're just throwing a guard up front here. They're just going to just tap that front blue and roll across. Oops. Over in front of the yellow one, making the angle to play the front yellow guard pretty limited. They're looking at, Russia's now looking at all their options up the front of the house, which rock they can play.
So now they're actually looking if they can get through the hole in the guards or on the center line and maybe just pick out the blue counter, pick it out and hit it directly on the right side and see if they can get that out that way.
Come through that hole with
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on the out-turn side and come across the face of that blue one
Exactly.
and just chip it out the back door there.
Yeah.
It is a shot for 3 even, maybe even 4 if they keep the shooter.
Keeping the shooter would be tough, but they don't really have to. They're down 2, so scoring 3 will win them the game. And even if they take one of the back yellow ones with it, because they hit it a little too thick, then they would still score 2 and force the extra end.
I think that's definitely there, yep.
Yeah, I think it's there. I'm not sure how much weight you can throw, though. It might be nice to get a little extra curl after you go by the guard, because it doesn't look like there's a lot of room there.
You can't afford to hit the yellow.
No,
So
that's
you
true.
gotta get past that one. So maybe you can throw like a control weight. You'd get enough control to come around, finish around that guard, and then
Yeah,
just have to kiss that blue one in the house.
I think that would be the shot.
Looks like what they're going to call here.
So let's
Thank
see
you, Christian,
if,
for the visual on this sheet. Good
Yeah.
thinking. A wise man here.
So, pressure shot for Anastasia here. See if she can get this blue one out. Get herself the win. She's chosen for Alexander to give her a target. So there's give her the broom.
Looks pretty nice coming down here.
She's not throwing a ton of weight, so that's good. It
Starting
seems
to
be
curl
hanging.
now. It's going to have
There
to
goes.
get by.
It's really close.
Going to have to curl up just a little bit more.
very
Absolutely
nice.
beautiful. And
it's really close for
unfortunately,
3.
she rolls a little bit too much, scoring
bit
2. Brilliant
Great
shot to
shot,
come around that corner
absolutely.
and
Perfect
secures
weight
an
as
extra
well.
end out here.
As we said, you don't want to throw too much weight at that, and she threw the perfect weight, I think.
Just heard from our technical department, we are going to be able to bring you the rest of this 3-4 game for our Russian and Hungarian fans. The final has been completed. This is for 3rd and 4th place. It's going to be going into an extra end after a really brilliant shot thrown by Anastasia from Russia to tie the game up at 8-8.
Yep.
So
is
extra
8-8.
end. And we're just going to continue to give you try and create this for you technically. A little bit different than our live feed sheet that has some extra cameras on it. So mind the quality of the film, but you will be able to watch the play live.
Yep. So this is the end that we are right now. The rocks are set up. Teams are ready to play. Anastasia is delivering the first rock. Of course, they scored in the 8th end, so Hungary will have the last rock in this end. But as we see in mixed doubles, that's not always the best advantage, as it is in regular curling. But right now, we're have our extra cameraman, Lawrence Hoekman, is making his way to the camera, so we'll be able to give you some close-ups as well, and you'll be able to see a bit more of the game.
So first come around draw there, taps it back a little bit. Really nice shot. So Anastasia throws a nice great come around hit there and turns around and throws up a nice draw. She's definitely got the adrenaline going, so
for sure.
Really good turnaround to be able to concentrate to make that draw shot.
Momentum's going all over the place in this game, actually. It's really nice to be able to focus and make those nice shots at the right time.
Yeah.
So nice little tap by Ilgen. Opens up the scoring area a bit more, which is ideal when you have hammer. So it's good to play that extra bit of weight. And she does hit it at a little bit of an angle, so she moves the yellow rock a little to the side. So you'll see the Russians now trying to get in there with another nice draw. So on top of the blue one perhaps, or maybe come around it completely. Of course this sheet curls a little bit different than what we've seen on our feature sheet for the final. So we're not entirely sure how much angle you can get on this or how much you can come around. Alexander sweeping it. There we go. Nice. Working hard to get this weight right. Getting this come around in the right position.
Nice shot,
Yeah,
blocking the
very
top of the
nice.
forefoot there. It's a pretty nice position, yep. It's a nice control zone there.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Hungary is actually sitting shot rock, it's still a tough situation for them. I think Russia definitely has some opportunities to get in there later and tap or even come around the intern side, which is your right side on the screen right now. And then they can actually get shot rock that way. And the scoring area is getting pretty small right now because they just threw up that rock just biting the forefoot, I believe.
Yep. So you get a little look of the scoreboard up behind there.
Yeah. So as we said, Hungarians scored 5 in the first 2 ends, and then the Russians took control. Got the score up to 6-5, and then Hungary took another 3 back. Made it 8-6, and then the Russians just tied it, as you saw, to 8-8, and now we're playing the extra end. Exciting
play. George just delivered.
Exciting end of our tournament right here. Everybody is in here watching this game.
Give you at home quite often the finals end and the broadcast is over and you're going, yeah, but. So thank you for the crew to manage to be able to switch games here and give you a little bit of what's happening on the last game. And of course, all the teammates from the Russians in Sochi there watching along. You get to watch all your teammates performing out here.
Absolutely. All the fans that were watching are probably also interested in this one, so it's always nice to see more games and be able to switch to these kind of games when the other ones are over, especially these extra ends. The excitement gets really high, and teams are just at the end of their energy. It's the final game of the tournament, you know. And, it's Yep. Of course, these players don't have microphones. Unfortunately, we are not able to hear what they are saying, but we'll give you some nice updates and
make our interpretations as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. We'll provide you with the options that we think will be best, and then we'll see what completely different things they come up with, and we'll play. But right now, it looks like the Russians are actually not in a bad position, but they're trying to move some rocks around here and set up the angles for themselves to be able to play into the into the pin later. I think they're going for a little tap back on the yellow rock that we now see in between of the blue ones in the top of the forefoot.
Yeah, I think they'd like to just tap that yellow so that they set the yellows to make it a little bit harder for blue to maintain any angles to remove them. You want to try and get it a little more frozen to either the blue or the yellow on the forefoot.
Yep.
hopefully create it for shot rock.
Exactly. Ideally, you'd sit shot rock.
You have to be careful that they don't leave their shooter sitting an opportunity for Hungary to make a hit and roll and double the yellows off and stay in behind in that 4 foot.
Yeah, you want to make sure you keep your shooter either in front of it or you roll off completely and get behind it so that they can't come off the one that you're playing out. So again, really crucial what the weight and line combination is. So we see the Alexander sweeping really hard here.
Curling up a little much. If he gets it
Yeah,
by, it's
quite
going to
a
be a
lot.
great shot. Just
Yeah,
rubs
just
off a
rubs.
little bit. It's not so bad. He's
Yeah.
kind of in a high position, high enough that he can actually use it for something later on.
Good choice to stop sweeping that as well. If you drag that on a little further, then
Yeah.
it will be an opportunity for the Hungarians to come off it and get into the 4 foot.
George is looking at the double, but it's pretty high, pretty long.
Yeah, and you have to hit just very little of the top yellow one to actually make this double. High chance that you actually go over the top.
And potentially chip it back into the blue
Tap
one.
it back, yeah, or just tap it for shot rock.
Yeah. So, tricky call here.
Yeah.
Hungary's going to have to be really careful to get this line right.
Another option would be try to remove the yellow one in the top 4 completely if you are able to play like a hack weight shot. We've seen that 2 draws that we've seen from Alexander have both curled up quite a bit.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
there is some curl on this side, and if you are able to play this with the hack weight, stick your shooter maybe on the side of the 4 foot on the right. That'll secure you an extra counter so you can hit later on. It looks like they are playing the double.
10 double, called here by Mr. Nagy.
Yeah, he's playing the double.
Here it
Being
comes.
called on to sweep right away by Ildi. Just jumped up. Looks really nice. Oh,
He's
just
pretty
over
close
gross
here,
probably.
I think so. He is going to come up and tap that yellow, as we discussed. Was the risk of this shot.
That's a risk, absolutely.
He does manage to keep the shooter and roll across in front of that yellow, so he does still have a setup from a little bit of control zone. Russia's going to have to continue to be patient here. They're just going to have to get another setup shot in there and limit the opportunities for Hungary.
Do you reckon they just guard this now?
I would think so. They have a choice of throwing it up. That'd be their margin for sure. But they can also choose to now tap it a little and then try and create a little bit of different pocket for that yellow one that's sitting at the top of the 4 foot.
Yep.
Top of the button. It's not shot rocket. I think blue is still sitting shot, so they may actually want to tap it and create their angles. They'll want to get on the inside of that blue one.
Yeah, that will be crucial here. You want to make sure that you get your angle so that the Hungarians won't be able to play into it and remove your counter.
And double both yellows out.
Yep.
That wouldn't be so ideal. So
And as it's sitting right now, I'm not sure if the yellow will actually go or if it will jam on the back yellow. But they are tapping it as it looks.
yeah,
It's like a nice curl. Comes in.
really nice shot here. They're going to tap that back to be
Yeah.
in a really beautiful position.
That's pretty good.
Well done.
I think the Hungarians can actually come in down and do the same thing right now. Not sure if they could get shot rock with that. So really interesting situation right here. Lots of fingers pointing in the crowd over here. People discussing the different angles and what they would play. So always nice to get these games and even watch them and discuss with your partner what you would do.
Both teams are represented here and supported by team coaches. Daryl Horns come over from Canada to coach George and Ildi for a few months.
Yeah.
Great dedication from Daryl. We both know him from Houston. And
Yeah.
if Kate's home watching, he's doing a good job and staying out of trouble so far.
Yep.
And Russia also comes with the team coach and really dedicated crews that travel with the Russians. It's always admirable to see how much effort is put into their program and the commitment from their association to develop their athletes. It's really phenomenal. So compliments to the Russians as well.
Yeah, so both teams will definitely be able to look this back and discuss this situation with their coaches and learn from this as well. These kind of situations are definitely the ones that you want to go over again, see if there's any other options that you could have played or other ways to get into the forefoot or eliminate or not, and see what kind of different possibilities there are for the future.
George is looking to play a tap back, run back on his blue one here on the left.
Yeah, if he makes as well, he could eliminate a couple of yellows and hit shot rock.
They're going to talk about it again. Nearly had another train of thought after George was already down here in the hack. There is no time clock running, so no risk of running out of time.
Although if you take too long, the umpire will come out and give you a 45-second warning, because we do have a schedule to keep. Of course, now this is the last game, but before this, we had to make sure that all the times would fit and all the games would run on time. And of course, because we want to be able to give you the broadcast at the right times and make sure that you're all able to watch the games.
So back to the setup here. As you can see, lots of stones in play. Yellow is sitting shot rock currently on the center of the pin there, just behind the pin. That's a stone belonging to Russia. George Nagy from Hungary is going to deliver his blue stone here, attempting to raise the front blue one on the right side of your screen into the pocket of the yellows. Looks like he's going to throw this a bit of weight.
Yeah, make sure you remove the yellows in the back of the forefoot. Gives himself some more room to score.
Sweeping his own stone here.
He's calling him off for the line. Doesn't seem to curl much, but it curls in the end. There it goes.
Pretty nice here.
Yeah. Very nice shot.
Really nice shot.
Yeah, well executed.
Wow. So.
Although it does leave the one on the left on the screen right now pretty open, so the Russians will be able to come off that and actually hit and roll, or actually come off their own yellow and spin back up. Sit shot rock.
Yeah, the visual you have on your screen at the moment, it looks like there's quite a bit of room on the right side of the screen for the play to come down on the inside of that blue rock sitting on the button, but on the visual for the throwers, it's actually quite a tight line.
Yep, so a small hole to fit your rock through.
The camera angle with the overhead cameras for the house that we've extended out for you to be able to see the whole house and the guards in play is at a little bit of distorted angle, so the view is a little bit of a not quite accurate for you, but they're electing to play a hit and roll off the outside one here.
Yep.
Let's see if Anastasia can throw another brilliant stone here. Keep them in this game. I want to get to the inside of this, and it's hanging out and just not curling up enough.
So it will be handshakes, and Hungary will win the bronze medal game.
Great effort from Alexander and Anastasia.
Yeah,
They'll
still really well played.
secure fourth place in this.
Great
Gildy
fight.
and George, big hug there. Celebrating their bronze medal, third place.
Yeah.
Taking away the championship points for third. And winning a little bit of pocket money to go home with.
Yeah.
They'll share that with their coach Daryl and buy themselves some dinner on their long road home.
Exactly.
On behalf of the Yap, myself, and all our other commentators, Christian here, we'd like to extend a really warm thank you to all our viewers. Hope you've enjoyed the weekend broadcast here from the Dutch Masters mixed doubles curling competition, first year. Thank you, Carlo and Lawrence, for all your hard work organizing. It's been a really phenomenal opportunity to host so many international teams, 13 countries represented here.
Yeah, it was
the
amazing.
first year of this event, and I think from all the sounds of it, everybody's hoping to come back next year from the opponent, from all the teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 Dutch teams participating. Hopefully, have a little more better results from our Dutch representations next year. We have to get working on that. Hopefully, that inspires some Dutch curling players to do a little more practice and take this discipline of curling a little more seriously and try. On behalf of Curling Band Zoetermeer, the ice crew, all the volunteers, thank you very much for all your hard work. And Silverdome here has been a great host, a great facility here, as you can see on your screen right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yap. Thank you for all the participants. I wish
You're very
everybody
welcome.
a safe ride home and follow along. Check out the website for any results you haven't maybe seen yet.
There's us on the
www.
screen right now. So
www.dutchmasterscurling.nl to follow up on any of the live scores that you might have missed.
yep.
And if you
And
want
watch
to follow
back any games on YouTube,
on
of course.
YouTube channel.
And a very, very big thank you for Sherry for all the hard work that she put in for the live streams.
My pleasure, yeah.
Did the commentary on all of those and invited some guests over to make the chat a little more interesting whenever she had to pee or couldn't handle it herself, of course. But I think she did a great job. So any of the wise words that you want to listen to, make sure you repeat them on YouTube and take a lesson from that.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Yeah, great working with you. And that'll be all from us here in Curling Band Zoetermeer. If you've seen some broadcasts and want to try curling, haven't tried it yet, but been inspired by what you see out on the ice, mixed doubles or a team play, contact a local curling club. Go out and try it. It's not quite as easy as it looks. Take an opportunity to try a clinic, get some instruction, make some contact. Judith over in Scotland's great in development. You heard her earlier on a broadcast. Contact one of the curlers that you've just seen on a broadcast. Write us a note, send an email. We'll help you guide you to a curling location near you. Try this great sport. It's great for everyone. Take care. See you next year.